All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. I got my bad boy Ryan here, and you know when Ryan's here, we're about to unleash something incredible. We're going to be talking about the 4-2-2-2. I know Thomas Tuchel said it was the 4-4-2 formation. At the end of the day, it really did look like the 4-2-2-2 formation, as they call it in Twitter, the penis formation, which is quite funny. If you get my just what I mean. I don't want to draw it out. Got some kids watching this show. But my man Ryan, how you doing?
Well, I'm here to discuss the 4-2-2-2. I don't know about the other one you was talking about, but I'm here to discuss that.
I don't know if you've noticed this, Ryan. It's in Twitter, the Man United fans.
Yeah, I saw the picture of Radnick's tactics, but thankfully we have Tuchel's tactics, which is way more flexible. And when I saw possibly a 4 at the back, I messaged you before I even recognized it was 4-2-2-2. I knew that something was gonna brew to have a good stream, to recognize some new formations, new systems, new patterns, and luckily we got it with a dominant performance. So I'm really excited to get into this.
No, 100%, man. When I saw the lineup, I didn't know there were a couple of players that were out with positive test cases, and I only got to know that like 15 minutes before the lineup came out. And then when I saw the lineup come out and the way it was set up, I was like, whoa, that definitely is a 4 at the back, because we don't have the wing backs, we don't have the personnel that were meant to be playing. I expected Conte, I expected Thiago Silva. So, and then Thomas Tuchel said that pre-match that we are kind of forced to play this. And he apparently had like a session or 2 sessions in training, and he said that the boys seemed very focused. They took in all the information as to what needs to be done for this particular formation. And my days, we completely dominated Spurs. And I know we're going to get more into it, but it looked really, really good. So, yeah, let's get straight into this, Ryan. Do you want me to bring the tactical board out?
Of course.
All right, here we go. Boom.
Right.
Talk to me, bro. The 4-2-2-2.
Yeah, we have the 4-2-2-2 here, and Spurs, they set up the defense in a 5-2-1-2. That means they pressed with a 1 and a 2 instead of a front 3. I think they did that because they wanted to match our 2 center backs. If they we know that Conte likes to win the ball back in these regions here, right? Let me just start off with that. So that's why you don't see his CDMs pressing high up the pitch. They would rather win it back here and protect the back line. So Conte had 2 options.
And by the way, we touched on that. We touched on that recently when we did that Lukaku into Milan under Conte.
Yep.
And I remember you saying he likes to win in that sort of more deeper midfield sort of area.
Yep. So Conte had 2 options. He could do a front 3 press and stifle our 2 center backs, but that would leave our whole midfield pivot free. So instead, he had Lucas in and around here, a little behind Kane and Son. And this is how it came up, basically a 5-2-1-2 in defense. And when I say defense, I don't mean in a low block. I mean from the initial press high up the pitch. So we have a back 4 here, guys. And I know a lot of people said they saw a back 3 and this and that. Well, I'm going to tell you why right now. We had a makeshift back 3, so we could counteract this front line of 2, which is pressing us here. So instead of these 2 strikers pressing our 2 CBs, we actually had Alonso go up a little bit, and we had a makeshift back 3 as such. So if I just pull out these lines here, you can see our back 4 is now at an angle as this.
Yeah.
Right here. We are at that angle here. I just want to just say one thing here. As opposed to recent months where we saw a new verticality in our play, where we would build play centrally and vertically, we went back to the basics of Tuchel's early days, where we built play on each flank, on either flank. So let's just divide the pitch into half here, right? So I'll erase all that. I just want to give you a brief few seconds to see what I'm thinking in my mind.
Yep.
So this back three, this makeshift back three, although it's a back four, counteracts the initial press of that front three. Since the fullback, which is most advanced, we would build play through that side. So when we build play on the right, Aspi would be more advanced and create that angle, and vice versa, right?
Right,
But
right. Yep.
since we were so dominant on the left hand side today, especially in that first half, I'm gonna do
Yep.
the illustration through the left hand side. So let me just erase all this, keep everything I said in mind there with all those lines, and that is how we got um basically you got Alonso. Let me bring out the ball. Alonso as our main outlet in building up play and starting our attacks. You know, he would be all here. He could sometimes tuck in kind of a makeshift midfield three, or he could get wide. He had that freedom. Okay, and now we
Yep.
have a mission here. We have a mission is our mission now is for our attackers to have simultaneous movements to combat and dismantle this back five here. So we can see a back five of cones here. If you watch your mouse, we want to
Yep.
dismantle that simultaneously with movements. So this is what's going to happen. This is how it's going to simultaneously happen. I'll name the movements one by one. Firstly, Emerson, the right wing back, will try to press. Will try to press Alonso. Right.
Yep.
That's step one. Step two is that we want to stretch this back three. Okay. So
Yep.
what we do is we see Kai drift into wide positions, and he would take
100%.
Tanganga with him.
This
He
is
would
how
take
he scored
Tanganga
that
with
first
him.
goal, didn't he? Kai in
Yep.
that sort of space.
Don't worry about Mount yet. We'll change him when we're ready for him. But yes, Kai. Now Lukaku is going to get into the box and be very stagnant. A lot of people are going to be like, Lukaku is too stagnant in the box. Why isn't he moving? He's doing nothing. He's not sorry. No, there's a reason for this. The reason for this is because he's dragging two men, and he wants these two men to stay here with him, right? He wants,
Yep.
let me just, I forgot the names, is Sanchez, and I think it was a Davies. Yeah, Sanchez and
Yeah,
Davies,
Davies. Yeah.
right?
Yep. Yep.
Center back and left center back. He wants with him. What that does, it creates a massive space here. So when we finally advance the ball through the left hand side, this is the space we really want to kill. The only way we
Yep.
can kill that is if we have Lukaku stagnant taking two defenders, and if we have Kai in a wide position. Now somebody might want to ask, okay, well, why didn't the center back cover that gap, blah blah blah, and then wing back come here and cover that gap? Well, that's because we have Ziyech here keeping wide this time. Instead of being more centrally as we want him to be, and everybody want him
Yeah.
to be,
It
even
was
I
very
want him
wide.
to be. The reason
Yeah.
why he's wide this time is that so he could not let this compact situation
That
unfold.
thing happened. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So he can take the wing back with him, and we can get back into this favorable position with two people marking Lukaku and a space here to penetrate. Now, let's look at it. Oh, sorry, I have wrong guys here. But
Yeah. Saul was
let's
on the
look
right
at
side. Yep.
this now. Now we can initially see in this space here, the backline is now vulnerable. Hoiberg, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Is
Yep.
it?
Emil Højbjerg. Yep.
Hoiberg, instead of pressing high up, his instinct and his job will be to protect the backline. So he would be more defensive. He would not press, right? And all of a sudden, you're seeing here 2v1 situation with Lucas, Jorginho, and Saul. That's why they had so much space, right? What we see here now is that Lucas isn't just here all the time. He likes to move around. He presses a lot. He works hard. He presses more than Kane and Son. What Saul did is he kind of got diagonal to Jorginho, right? And well, they mixed and match whole game. They switched, right? But
They
let's
did.
just
Yep.
have it like this for the sake of the illustration. As a result, it kind of took Lucas with him. Kind of. He was in a pretty predicament. And now, all of a sudden, you'll see that Jorginho is free with this ball, right? That can't
Yep.
happen. We didn't even see Jorginho free with the ball because now Skip is coming into press, and we have Emerson pressing here.
Yep.
So now we have a 2v2 situation. Let me just show you all which two I'm talking about. I'm talking about this two here and this two here, right?
Mm, mm.
2v2 situation. And yes, 2v2 situation is good when you have individual players who can beat each other, as in pass them by. But
Mm.
Alonso can't dribble past by people, nor can Jorginho. So we need to get 3v2 situation going on. And that is why
Yeah.
you see so much time that Mount dropped in here in these
Yeah.
positions, right?
Yep.
So now all of a sudden we have 3v2. Let me just get a nice little circle here just to show you all this 3v2 situation right there.
Mount was definitely a lot deeper than normal.
Yeah, so now we have a 3v2 situation here. What this 3v2 situation does is it puts these two defenders in a predicament. Okay, if this wingback tries to close, okay, you try to close on Jorginho, you try to close on Mount, all of a sudden Alonso is free on the wing. If
Yep.
you try to close on Alonso, then Mount is free in these areas. And
Yeah.
what we do, and if you try to close down Mount, what actually happened was when Jorginho was free, Saul was another outlet, making it a 4v2 situation.
Mm.
And the reason why the wingback couldn't leave Ziyech, it wasn't always for the long switch of play, which we did find them with, but it's also the short switch of play. If Saul gets this ball and Ziyech is free, then that could cause a lot of problems.
Yeah.
So
And
this is
I
what's
think
going.
and I think Saul's one touch passing created a lot of havoc in this situation where as soon as he saw someone open, the ball was there. He
Yep.
didn't allow Spurs to sort of reorganize themselves. You know what I'm trying to say, Ryan? Like
Mm-hmm.
whenever they were a little bit out of shape, he found the guy, the Chelsea player, that was there to attack that
He
open
knew what he
space.
wanted to do before he even had the ball.
Exactly, exactly, exactly.
And what we must say, his best years was in a 4-4-2 at Atletico. So maybe he knows the system way better, and that's why he was so good today. That could
Yeah.
be something. But I'll talk about him after. I have to say some important things about him. But yeah, so we have a 3v2 situation in this circle here. The impressive part of this was obviously Kai dropped deeper to drag in this center back. Now there's a
Yeah.
massive gap here. Hoiberg can't cover all that ground.
Hmm.
Was how quickly Mount and Kai and Alonso interact to actually get up the field as a unit. So these three actually got up the field as a unit fairly quickly. And
Yeah.
I think that's where we saw a lot of success in
Hmm. Hmm.
in this first half, and that's how Havertz scored that goal. That's how he got that second shot and goal. That's
Yeah.
how many times we'd see sometimes Ziyech would come in here and he got a few
Well, in the
shots
first
on
half, I
goal.
think Ziyech also had a chance, shot at goal as well, where I think he hit it straight to the keeper.
Yeah, and then Lukaku got some chances here because we
Yeah.
really took advantage of that. I think Kai and Mount did as much as they could. Let me just get rid of yeah. Kai and Mount did as much as they could in forward positions they could do with the skill set they have, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So in this situation here, there's only some things you can do. It's very one-dimensional, I would say, right? It's you can either let Alonso overlap, you can let Kai run in behind, you can let Kai drop deep and then Mount get in behind. And it was simple movements. It's like a triangle of players, very simple movements. But when Emerson eventually gets back and they get back to the back five, all of a sudden it's more difficult to get through. And that's why so much times Lukaku did not get that cross. That's why so much times we did not get those shots on goals
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
even though these three did well, given that they was by themselves and they had to do it on their own in that wing, um, half the times they could not do it on their own to get in behind quick enough, and they would just do not get the cross in and have to recycle play, which is okay, which is really
Hmm.
okay. Um, and that's why for many of the successful times we saw Ziyech coming into central areas in the first half, and that was actually the most fluid we've played football.
There
It
was
only
some
happened once or twice.
sequences. There was some sequences in the first half where we moved the ball with such good pace and ease.
Yeah,
It
even
looked
Kai, like
very
here,
good.
he had one time we just one touch at the Kai and then back to Ziyech, and then Ziyech hit a shot on goal. It was
Yeah,
really
yeah.
fluid, but that's why I always say I like triangles, but I like this little diamond shape way more if you really want to play and get in behind with our players. I feel like if you're using a triangle, you need a Eden Hazard player there who can beat players on his own. I feel like
Yeah.
right now we don't have any attackers who can do it on their own. Hudson and Pulisic could prior to the huge injuries, but now I don't feel they have that confidence to. So I would
Mm.
rather have four players near to each other to actually bounce off each other and get in behind.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
this was
Pass your way into space.
yeah, but this was actually our main tactics for the game against Tottenham, and I was wondering if you had any points you wanted to bring up in addition to this, or to reiterate anything.
Yeah, look, you're 100% right. We did dominate in the first half, especially on that left side, and this is exactly our build up and our dominance, how we created in midfield. This is exactly how you've demonstrated. It makes sense. A couple of questions that I want to ask you, and maybe this will lead off to more sort of discussions. One, our fan base, after looking at this particular formation, Ryan, are starting to think, well, why doesn't Thomas Tuchel play this on a regular basis? Clearly, it looks like it works. Clearly, we can do the job. And I feel like saying, well, we walked around Spurs press like it wasn't even there. And you've clearly demonstrated how we outnumbered them in midfield. So I don't think this is always going to be possible. Maybe Liverpool, we outnumbered Liverpool as well in midfield. There was a good change there too. But then again, we had Kante and Kovacic, so it's not impossible that Kante is almost like two players, to be honest. But tactically as
Hmm.
well, Alonso was more tucked in.
Yep.
But when we come against like proper teams that know how to press, let's say for example Man City, I don't think this will always work out. I mean, what's your thoughts?
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, this 4-2-2 formation, I think that it's really flexible. We definitely have the quality of players to flourish in it. But you cannot think that just because this match was smooth, that the next one will be smooth, or the next one, probably the next one, because it's just a field, but the next one after that will be smoother, the next one. But because, as you said, it's very rare situations where you will be outnumbering the opposition's press as much as we did this time.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think that yes, Saul and Jorginho had amazing performances today, but then you had to think that they literally had one person on them. Well, to be honest, in the second half when Ndombele came in, they did handle extra midfielder with ease also.
mm,
But
mm-hmm.
um, still, even with him there, Spurs did not press. They probably for the first 5 minutes pressed, but other than that, they did not. They just went back and let us run through. I think that in this case, for example, against better teams, we definitely need time to sort out one, what combinations we're going to use to get players from point A to point B
To point B.
successfully.
Yep,
But
yep.
the way I think about it, especially in our four at the back, is that our fullbacks are starting from point A instead of point A when they are wing backs, right? And as
Mm-hmm.
wing backs, they already struggle from getting from point A to B. Imagine
Yeah,
when they are here next to Jorginho and have to start from point A to B successfully. And that's
yeah.
going to be very tough. And while I do think we have a lot of the attacking personnel to do actually in our team, we have the perfect attacking personnel to do a 4-2-2-2.
Yeah,
I think we have the perfect midfield pivot to do a 4-2-2-2. I think we have good CBs to do it too. My problem is I do not think
we
we have
just
the
don't have
proper
the good
overlapping
fullbacks.
fullbacks
Yeah,
to do it.
exactly, exactly.
And and I think that since we already have a strong base with that three at the back, maybe we should keep that strong base when our players come back. And then in the summer we could recalibrate with new signings, for example, if we want.
just quickly in the summer, and we'll come back to this match again, a few other questions that we want to talk about, especially the Saul situation as well. In the summer, I mean, Ryan, is it too far-fetched to think once hopefully Ben Chilwell can come back to his best, there's a massive question mark whether he's going to be as good as he was this season post the injury. We'll see what that happens. Reece James as well. But let's assume that they are back to their level best. And you've said our attacking players are very suited with this particular formation and style, maybe even the double pivot. Once we get Reece James and Chilwell back, we've got the caliber of CBs that can possibly carry this out as well. Do you feel this is something that could be a potential change-up next season?
Yeah, I do, because I think that when we talked about Lukaku in our last analysis on how our presses suffered, having that extra attacking player could compensate for that lack of press by Lukaku, and having these extra players in and around could actually make us do very good. Because even in different teams like 4-2-2-2s, you would see a big number 9 who does not really press as much, and that's normal. But you see, the thing is, when you're playing a three at the back, you have to compensate for having an extra defensive player. So that means everybody in front has to press this time.
Right.
But now, so I think it would be a good idea, and we already said how Lukaku said Tuchel changed the module. I think the module Lukaku really like is to have a striking partner with him. So whether it's 3-5-2, 4-2-2-2, 4-4-2, anything with a 2 up front will be good, and that really suits us because we have Kai and we have Werner, who can play in and out with each other. And then hopefully we have Broja or somebody else coming in to rotate with Lukaku, and that would be fantastic for 2 strikers. I think as in the attacking midfielders, I mean, imagine a Conor Gallagher coming back and he could play that role. It have Mount, it has Ziyech. Ziyech could probably get reborn in this area.
You know what? You always get to the point as soon as I'm about to, that's the next point that I wanted to say, and you got there before me. It's almost as if you're like 2 steps ahead, like you're there. Miz, I know what you're going to talk about, so I'm going to get there before you get there. Bro, you're bang on. I wanted to ask you about 2 players. One was Ziyech, and you talked about that Ziyech could be reborn. I felt
born again, bro.
was born again.
One day Christian, one day Muslim. No, I'm joking.
I feel Ziyech in this particular game was very instrumental. I wish he added a goal to his name. He definitely should have got a couple of assists. That brilliant cross to Lukaku, which was centimeters away from being a goal. That unbelievable pass to Timo Werner.
Fabregas-esque pass.
My God. To the point, it's a little bit orgasmic, to be honest, that pass. Timo Werner, once again, if he just controlled, I think he took the most difficult, chance to chip it over when Lloris was actually, rushing out. He needed to just slot it past him and really be confident. But it is what it is. Basically, the point that I'm trying to say is that, Ryan, Ziyech looks a lot more involved in this particular style and formation, and it feels like it allows him to have that freedom of that creativity. Do you agree as well? Also, I don't want to take away the fact that Ziyech worked his backside off. His work rate was immense.
Oh yeah, let me just touch on that for like 5 seconds, literally. So it was 3 at the back for Tottenham. They used wing backs, right? So Ziyech covered in as basically our 5th defender throughout that first half. In the second half, not so much because Tottenham went back to a back 4, and he didn't have to do that anymore. But he worked really hard, and really happy about that. How much heart he showed out there. He was really good.
Yep.
Tracking back, he seemed like he worked really hard, and yeah. So just kudos to Ziyech for that. But back to your main question here: if this is suited for him, I think this is only suited for him if he has an overlapping wing back next to him. We saw Aspi a lot of the time. Aspi would overlap when there's nobody there.
Yeah.
And he wants that final cross or something. But most of the time, Aspi will be here, Jorginho will be here.
Yep.
And well, for people who came from my thread, This is something extra because I don't touch on the right hand side on my third. So we're now going to see how we build play on the right hand side.
All right, we got some cheating section now. We got some extras.
Yeah, we got extras for sure. So on the right hand side, we would see that since Ziyech did not have since Aspi, okay, Aspi is not somebody who got the same license as Alonso to actually overlap as much and underlap and get in to all these areas throughout the entire of the game. Aspi actually came there once or twice when it had a lot of space, but most of the time he would be around these areas. He is starting the attack up, right?
Yep.
And especially in a back four, he needs to protect our two CVs. At the end of the day, Conte's an attacking team. So this is how we kind of set up our midfield pivot this time. Jorginho was at the base and Saul was above him. It was vertical. So if you can see, we actually created a sort of shape on the side here as such. Ziyech, at times when Lukaku did not drop wide, Ziyech was the tip of this diamond. How many times I came on this channel and talk about Ziyech cannot be the tip of a diamond because he cannot put his back towards goal. He cannot turn on players and he cannot dribble past players alone on the wing.
Correct. Yep.
As a result, he would need one of two things. He would need Lukaku to come here and be that outlet. So, for example, instead of Aspi passing to Ziyech in this situation, he would pass to Lukaku. Lukaku would bring it back to Ziyech, and then Ziyech would cross it in to Havertz or Werner. Well, that's what happened with Werner.
See that? That's how the Werner thing happened. There you go.
Yeah, well, you see, guys, I don't.
By the way, you didn't even know you were demonstrating the exact play. You didn't even know, but you were demonstrating the exact play.
Yeah, but I say if you're playing Werner here, you're playing against a low block. Even Havertz, it doesn't make sense having Ziyech on his left foot and then Lukaku is here. You want Lukaku to be here when Ziyech is on his left foot, right? So that's why I think we really need an overlapping wing back with him.
Yeah.
We really need it, or we would either, if we don't have that overlapping wing back this season, we would need Kai to alternate and do a double shift and come here while Lukaku gets in the box. So it kind of be like 4-2-2-2, but Kai would have to be going flank to flank, which he is capable of. But you see how much compensating we have to do already without having overlapping wing backs.
See, this is the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get into the next player that we want to touch on, I talk about domino effect, and Ryan's heard me say this. Look, Aspi is a legend of the club. There is no doubt about that. But because of his deficiency, we having to compensate in other areas. And as Chelsea Football Club, why should we compensate? We should look at how we can get to the pinnacle.
Yeah.
Ryan's trying to explain to you that had we had a particular fullback, whether it's Reece James or backup, whoever, I don't care.
Reece James. Do you think Reece James could overlap like that?
He doesn't. That's the thing. As a right back, Reece James doesn't overlap like that. As a right wing back, I've seen him do that more often this season. And it's going to take... When we were at our finest, without any injuries, I did see Reece James going into those overlapping areas and then really coming in. And that's how he was scoring a lot of the goals. So, not
as I
having...
said, Reece James could overlap from point A to point B. He have a burst of acceleration from point A to point B. But when it comes to speed, which is longer term than acceleration, from point A to point B, he cannot. Hakimi style. Chilwell, even Chilwell. I would say Chilwell is underrated on FIFA. How is this guy like 82 pace? This guy is so quick. Anyways, beside the point. So even with Reece James, that's our next topic we'll have to consider. But luckily, we don't have to think about it for 3 months. But this is what I'm thinking. Like even with a back four, while Reece James could do those crosses in behind and stuff, we still don't have that overlapping free right back, and that's why I think our back three suits Reece James more, and still having an overlapping wing back as in somebody else.
No.
I think we could actually transition, like where how Chalobah goes up and joins Jorginho. I think Reece James could do really good there and advance forward and inverted position still, but that's beside the point. The main point is that to get the best out of Ziyech in these central areas and even Mount in right, because when Mount plays on the right, I don't want Mount all here. You know what I mean? I want Mount here.
Ineffective. Yeah,
Yeah,
Mount needs to be more centrally ineffective out
yeah,
wide.
yeah. And that's why I still think of overlapping fullbacks and wingbacks, so 2-in-1 combos. That's why I really want Dean to come, or Digne, or
Yeah,
however you
look at
pronounce this
Dean. Look at
guy's name.
Dean.
I want
I don't
him.
think look at Dean's probably going to happen. It's a bit more complicated. It might be Emerson.
Yo,
Um,
didn't they say Emerson? They reject Emerson.
who
Leon
reject?
rejected Emerson like a couple while you were sleeping in Australia today.
Oh, is that a legit news that's going around?
Yes, Simon Phillips and everybody reported it. Yeah,
Oh wow. Okay, so
yeah, that
well then it's look at Dean, right? Isn't it?
well that we're thinking about it still. But yeah,
Yeah.
Fabrizio always said if we can't get back Emerson, that we're gonna be that. I mean, they say he's leaving for sure, and Fabrizio said that he's not going to Newcastle because even though
Yeah.
Newcastle put in a bid, that he doesn't
I
want to go
saw
to Newcastle.
just a moment ago. I saw Aston Villa is looking to shape up for Luka Dean as well. Look, he's a
And West
man
Ham,
very much. Yeah, and West Ham as well. Like he's a
I think we
man
needed
very
more
much
than
wanted.
them. I think we need
Yeah,
to. I think Tuchel is pulling miracles, yeah, but he can't. He can't sustain miracles. He could pull it off, but he can't
bro.
sustain it.
The amount of comments that I'm seeing on my YouTube, videos, so many people are saying the board needs to help this guy out. I mean, he's, as you said, we can't sustain this. He's creating miracles, ladies and gentlemen. He's turning water into wine. There's a lot of people are commenting this. We can't keep this up. We do need, especially wingbacks, overlapping wingback. And Lukatin would be a great choice for that. But we'll see how it all transpires, man. Honestly, I mean, maybe they don't want to commit to Lukaden in now because they want him on a loan to see how he plays and whatnot. And in the summer, maybe they might want to go for someone like Theo Hernandez of AC Milan. Um, apparently, our hierarchy is very impressed with Theo Hernandez.
Finally,
We'll see.
I
I
think
don't know.
Luka Dean is a Chelsea signing for sure, because that's the kind of signings we like to have. We don't. I feel like Theo Hernandez is not a Chelsea signing. A Chelsea signing is a player available in January who has trouble with his club and Chelsea pounces. That's like what we always do. So I think
I
this is
love that, bro. I
perfect for
love
us.
that.
It's just for us
I
to
was
do
trying
it.
to figure out where you're going with that.
Yeah, a Chelsea signing is not getting the best player in the world and bringing them in that
Chelsea
position. It's
signing
more like
is
getting the best thing available for around 25 million and bringing them in.
absolutely. And look at Dean, he's Premier League proven, man. He's Premier League proven. But before we wrap things up, I do want to ask you about Saul as well. We talked about
Mhm.
Ziyech. I do want to ask you about Saul. Do
Yeah.
you think Saul's ability to play that one touch, and there was a moment, and I don't know if it ended up being like that, Saul's stats in terms of interceptions, in terms of tackling, was the highest of out of both the teams. So he was topping all of those stats as well, defensive stats. Obviously, his one-touch passing was sublime. His vision as well, knowing where the ball needs to go. Do you feel he now becomes a very good complement to any of our midfielders, whether it be
Yeah.
Kante, whether it be Kovacic, whether it be Jorginho? He becomes
Yeah.
a genuine player that can, hopefully, the second half of the season,
We have a lot of
have an
stuff.
impact.
Champions League,
Yeah,
FA Cup, Club World Cup. So we have a lot
yeah,
of football to play.
yeah. Let's not forget the Premier
Um,
League. I mean, we still need to be coming at least second. So, um, I think
yeah,
he could do something. What's your thoughts?
I think that he can. I think when I watched his passing today, right, I really watched to see what type of passes he's pulling off. It's one thing to pull off those one-touch passes and take the safe option. I think
Mm,
that the kind of passes he was pulling off in these areas, one, he was taking the responsibility of getting in these areas.
yeah.
He didn't let only Jorginho. I think when he first came after those like horrible performances, he started losing confidence. So he used to kind of run away from the ball and be in
Yes.
positions not to receive
Yes.
the ball.
Yes. He was shying away from the ball when he was not confident. It's
Yep.
totally different now.
Now Saul, you can see that many times Jorginho is one on top, and then Saul is
Yep.
here, and he
Yep.
actually, upon receiving the ball, I always look at what type of passes is this guy doing. Is he doing basic side foot passes? And I think no, that he had an awareness of who was always around him, and the type of passes he was playing, it was like side of the foot flicks.
With a lot of
You know,
whip. He was whipping them. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, it was kind of like his body positioning was always at the perfect angle to find the pass that he wanted to pass, even though it's a short pass. It was confident passes and confident turns he was doing under pressure. It wasn't just like, oh, let me just kick it quickly away. It's more like he would use the side of his outer side of his feet to find a pass from here. He would use a flick and turn here. He would
He would flick it and
always,
get to mount. Like he'd flick it
yeah.
and then he'll
And he passes and moves too. That's the thing. So he
Yeah.
compliments Jorginho because he passes and then he moves and then he can also receive it back. It both really reminded me of Kovacic and Jorginho. Like not because Saul could dribble as much, even though he could back in his prime, back in the day. But I feel like just the movements off of each other, they combine way more than I would say Kante and Jorginho would combine. They actually combine together. They would combine together to get out of trouble. And I think that he's showing a lot of confidence. I know he's getting praised by his manager. You see how Tuchel pat him on the back and hyped him up when he came off?
Did you see that, Pat? Did you see him slap that back?
Well, yeah, bro.
That's what she
yeah,
said.
I mean, his back on yeah. I did see him slap that back. But
I love that.
It's not only that, it's all the love he was getting under his Twitter today. All the love he's getting. He's going to be more confident. I really hope he doesn't get COVID or anything, because he needs to continue. He needs to continue. He can't be off for 10 days.
I want him to play against Chesterfield because we need some sort of experience in that game. I want him to play against Chesterfield. I want him to then feature against Spurs in the second leg as well. He shouldn't be tired. He should have all the legs.
So Kante's out for these matches.
Kante's gone. Yeah, he's gone for 10 days.
Yeah, I would say that, to be honest, yeah, I would have him feature in those two matches. I wouldn't know how it goes on, but I know that Kovacic has to be in the mix after his Liverpool game. He has to be in that mix. Jorginho could take this moment to actually.
Kovacic can play in the second leg.
Kovacic is kind of like COVID prone right now since he just came back from COVID. I'm thinking about COVID right now because I know soon as two players have it, then the rest of players gonna get it. So I won't be surprised if other players like Rudiger or somebody who hasn't gotten COVID yet gets it.
Oh man!
That's why I think like guys like Kai, Werner, Kovacic, you can count it all down because they just recovered, so they won't get it again. Whereas players like Rudiger,
people do get it the second time. That's the thing.
Yeah, but not a week after.
Not a week after. Not a week after.
Yeah, maybe like 4 months after, 5 months after.
Yeah, and you've got a point because those two lads, Thiago Silva and Kante, they were training yesterday. So.
Yeah, and you know how close the group is too. It's like,
bro, of course.
Like,
I mean,
for that Havertz goal, everybody had their face together, kind of huddle and like a bunch, like. So like,
give me the disease. Give it to me now.
Yeah. So. Anyway, Saul, as I was saying on Saul, man, I'm really happy because I was part of the Saul hive since the beginning. When I texted you when we were linked with him in August, so I'm really happy that he's doing well because I've been watching him for a long time because I'm a Torres fanboy. So during those Atletico days, I used to watch him every week. And I know how good he is, and I know how good he could be. So really happy.
It's honestly, I can't wait to see. Like literally not that long ago, we were all saying, pack up your bags, Saul, let's go. But to see him turning this around slowly but surely, it's really good to see. And the fact that I saw Thomas Tuchel pat his back with such excitement and passion, it makes me think Tuchel wants this guy to succeed. He wants him to succeed. And when you have your gaffers backing like that, man, I hope he goes strength to strength, and it's only gonna be beneficial for us for the rest of the season, and hopefully it gives a kick up the back to Ruben Loftus-Cheek as well. Perhaps it might sort of wake him up a little bit. But look, ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys have enjoyed this, this tactical show again with Ryan 4-2-2-2 formation that we unleashed on Antonio Conte. Total domination. We've covered a lot of the question, whether this can continue on, so on and so forth. Ziyech, REBORN, Saul's performance and whatnot. Make sure, please, I beg you, each and every one of you guys who are watching this, please follow my man Ryan on Twitter. The link is in the description right away. You literally have to click. It will take you to the screen. Follow. He's going to produce the thread, the written version of this. So do go and follow him. He does a whole heap of other madness as well. Ryan, any last things you want to say before we wrap things up?
No, I just want to say the same goes to you. Anybody who came from my thread on this video, please subscribe, please like, because yeah, I'm the tactical side of this coin,
Tactical
I
side of
would
the
say,
coin, bro.
in this channel. But there's a lot of different sides. I just had a match report with Jonathan and Taran today. I mean, we have people in the stadium. We have Miz doing streams, doing reviews, doing videos, a bunch of different guests. And this is channel to be subscribed to. Or if you're not, you're missing out. So you have to subscribe.
I love it, man. I love it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that said, hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Make sure you smash the like button. You know what to do. Smash that like button. We are absolutely running wild towards 10,000. We're at 9.3K already. Like not that long ago, we were at 9K. So thank you so much for all the support. Keep subscribing, keep smashing the like button, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all the content, and make sure you follow my boy Ryan, Tactical Ryan, Baby Pep. That's what he used to be called once upon a time. So yeah, please go follow him. Until next time. See ya.